now call the Huntsville City Council meeting to order. If all they're able to and like to, please rise for the invocation led by Robert Ferrell, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Dr. Robinson.
Let us pray. Holy Presence, source of love, divine wisdom, bring consciousness to tonight's purpose, a shared purpose, building on common ground, a purpose of community and equal regard, a sacred regard for women and men of all backgrounds. May loving kindness nourish tonight's discussions that transcend political, moral, religious, social, and cultural boundaries. May biases and fears dissolve through discernment that restores and expands compassion throughout our city. May sisterhood and brotherhood empower tonight's decisions that are creative, practical, and sustainable. O holy and divine essence, may the wisdom of our ancestors and the inspiration of our youth combine with the deep humanity and humility of our hearts. Fill all who have come here with common unity and the joy of service. Let peace and love be our mission, and let gratitude and compassion be our sacred action. Together, this is our prayer. Together we say, Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dr. Ferrell. The minutes from the regular meeting held June 25th, 2015 have been received, and they'll stand approved if there's no objections. We're now at resolutions and special recognitions. Mary, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, if I could ask Kenny Anderson to come forward. We have a CAFY Young Citizen of the Month that we want to recognize tonight, and I think you have some of your committee here if you would like to bring them up. Kenny, tell us about who we have this time.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. This evening we have Mamadine Kasima. She is a student. Actually, I think she is probably going on to the 9th grade now, but she was a 8th grade student at Chapman during the last school year. Mamadine moved to the United States from Africa as a young child, and she's always very excited about sharing her heritage with other people. She's a very active person and has been so for the past 3 years. She raises money for muscular dystrophy. She planned a coat drive that resulted in about 150 coats being collected, and she helps students on a regular basis doing lots and lots of things. She works with the Backpack Buddies program, and she has also served as a strong student leader. She's been student council president and vice president. She's been a student ambassador for 3 years. She's been a student of the month several months. She's an honor roll student. She's a volleyball player. She's a Leaders in Me person. She's a 7 Habits star. She's just lots and lots of things that indicate that she has a very bright future ahead. The July winner of the Star 99 CAFY Young Citizen is Mamadine Kasima. And Mamadine, we appreciate everything that you're doing. These folk are here to give you just a few things to take home with you. So we notice you brought some family. They may have some extra hands to assist you.
Yeah, I have. On behalf of Rocket City Broadcasting and Star 99, I want to congratulate you on your accomplishments and look forward to hear about all the future things that you do in this community. And again, congratulations. And we have stuff out in the lobby when we take the pictures.
Well, Ms. Kassenbra, wow. That's all can we say wow together? Wow. You're doing awesome things for our community, and I appreciate it. And in the bag here, I got several great things for you. Got something for your mind, body, and soul. And also there is a card in here. It's a gift card. Don't spend it all in the same place. And here's a bag to carry it. Thank you for all you do on behalf of Mr. Jay Stowe and Huntsville Utilities. Great job. Awesome.
And finally, on behalf of the Mayor, the Human Relations Commission, Huntsville Utilities, Star 99, Huntsville Police Department, and the Multicultural Affairs Office, we want to give you this certificate of appreciation.
And on behalf of the city of Huntsville and the 189,000 citizens live here, we want to give you a coin from the city, and the coin represents someone who has done something great for our community. Thank you for all that you've done.
This is your Kodak moment with the mayor.
Yeah.
Kodak moment.
That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mayor Battle. We have a resolution honoring Representative Anthony Daniels on being named the 2015 Legislator of the Year. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Dr. Shower, second by Mr. Culver. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. Dr. Showers, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am delighted to read this resolution on behalf of the mayor, council members, and the citizens of Huntsville. What a delight. Whereas the city council and the mayor of the city of Huntsville, Alabama, are apprised that Representative Anthony Daniels Jr. has been named by the Alabama House Democratic Caucus Legislator of the Year. Whereas Anthony was born in Bartow, Florida, but grew up in Midway, Alabama. In May 2005, Anthony graduated from Alabama A&M University, cum laude, with a bachelor's degree in elementary education. In 2010, he received his master's degree in special education from A&M. In May 2009, he released his first book, To Sweeten Alabama, a story of a young man defying the odds. And whereas in June 2006, Anthony was the first African-American male elected as a chairman of the National Education Student Program, where he represented more than 62,000 college students from over 1,200 campuses nationwide. In this role, Anthony worked out of the National Education Association headquarters in Washington, D.C. As a result of Anthony's leadership and collaboration with various organizations on behalf of NEA, the College Cost and Reduction Act of 2007 was signed into law by President George W. Bush. Anthony is recognized as a leading voice on the issue of college access and affordability. Anthony testified at hearings on education, spoke to live audiences, was invited to speak on national syndicated radio programs and television broadcasts, and was featured in various magazines discussing college affordability and mobilizing youth to be politically active. Whereas in July 2009, Anthony was appointed to Huntsville's Mayor Tommy Battle's Economic Sustainability Council, serving as the chairman of transportation. That September, Anthony was appointed chair of the Legislative Committee for the Huntsville Education Association, serving a one-year term. The following year, he was elected to the State Board of Directors for AEA. In 2010, he was also appointed to the Advisory Committee for the First Book North Alabama, a nonprofit organization that provided new books to disadvantaged children. And whereas Anthony continued to advocate for quality education for all as a public servant and as a former elementary teacher, his teaching experience includes teaching third grade at the Academy of Science and Foreign Language, fourth grade at University Place Elementary, and fourth and fifth grade blended classes at Chahati Middle School on an Indian reservation. Whereas in January 2012, he returned to his alma mater as the Cooperation and Foundation Relation Officer until November 2014. Anthony is currently the CEO for Premier Dental, a small business owned with his wife, Dr. Tanisha Daniels. And whereas on November the 4th, 2014, Anthony was elected to the Alabama House of Representatives in a landslide victory, defeating his opponent with a 78% vote cast for the newly created House District 53 in Madison County. He serves on the House Committee for Commerce and Small Business, Insurance, and Madison County Legislation. In addition, he was appointed to the Alabama Alcohol Study Commission. Anthony was named 2015 Legislator of the Year by the Alabama House Democratic Caucus. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council and the Mayor of the City of Huntsville, Alabama, acknowledge, congratulate, and extend best wishes to Representative Anthony Daniels for his contributions to District 53 in Madison County, Alabama, and on being named by the Alabama House Democratic Caucus Legislator of the Year. May you have success in all of your future endeavors. This document, approved on this 9th day of July, 2015, and it's signed by the Mayor, Tommy Battle, Council President Mark Russell, Council Pro Tem Bill Klain, Councilwoman Jeannie Robinson, Will Carver, and Richard Shower Sr. It is a delight for me to have read this resolution acknowledging our first son of Huntsville. Anthony was in Montgomery this week, and I don't know how he did it, but he's here tonight to receive this resolution from the mayor and the council and 189,000 loving, caring citizens that reside in this city. Anthony, would you and your wife come forward? This thing is not on. What a delight. What a delight. What a delight. Again, on behalf of the mayor and the council, we present this resolution acknowledging the fact that you were selected from your peers as the Democratic Caucus Legislator of the Year. Congratulations and best wishes.
Thank you.
And Mr. Daniels, I might add that we might want to add a bit to that and amend that resolution. I also named Dr. Tanisha Daniels as the supporting spouse of the year because she is the one who really is the power behind everything that you're able to do.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, Anthony?
Well, I just want to say thank you to the mayor and the council and Councilman Shower for the support. As the mayor indicated, the real legislator of the year is my wife, and so for allowing me to have the opportunity to go down to Montgomery and put up with a whole lot this year, life-changing experience, being newlyweds and also being in the legislature. But, you know, I'm motivated by my wife and by the citizens in this district and then throughout this community. And so I didn't go to Montgomery to receive any awards. I just did what I thought needed to be done in Montgomery, and working across the aisle and getting things done for on behalf of our community. And ignoring the partisan politics and just playing to the issues and answering the call when any of the constituents call, the city of Huntsville call and need anything. And so I want to continue to do the good work for this community, and just want to say it would not be possible for me to be standing here had it not been for this community and the loving citizens and support base that we have right here. And so I want to thank you for that and let you know that I'll continue to fight and work on behalf of the citizens of North Alabama, and I love each and every one of you.
Come on down here. Take everybody's hand right here.
Thank you, Dr. Showers. Under announcements tonight, I'd like to ask Peter Jofferon to explain to us the new Open Meetings Act. We all received a memo, and I just wanted him to clarify the memo and inform the public on the new rules when they'll be going into effect. Mr. Jofferon?
Members of the council, the Open Meetings Law amendment that passed earlier in the legislature this year is confusing at best, and we do look for some clarification, hopefully from the Attorney General's office before it goes into effect on September 1st. But I have provided you with a memo that I hope will help clarify some things. It may actually add to the confusion by reading through it. And I'd like to focus tonight really on the principal change in the law. The law was designed to prohibit what are called serial meetings, and that is meetings among less than a quorum of members in groups over time, so that eventually in meetings, since there are 5 members on this body, for instance, if you met in groups of 2 to discuss issues behind closed doors, that would be within the definition of a serial meeting. And I'll go into that in a little bit more detail in just a minute. The way the serial meeting is defined is that it's less than a quorum is present at each individual gathering, and each individual gathering is attended by at least one member who also attends one or more other gatherings in that series. The total number of members attending 2 or more of the series of gatherings collectively constitutes a quorum of the body. There's no notice or opportunity to attend provided to the public in accordance with the Act. The members participating in the gatherings deliberate, and that's an important word, deliberate specific matters that at the time of the exchange, the participating members expect to come before the subcommittee, committee, or full governmental body at a later date. The series of gatherings was held for the purpose of circumventing the provisions of the chapter, and at least one of the meetings in the series occurs within 7 calendar days of a vote on any of the matters deliberated. So I'll get into what the definition of deliberation is in just a minute, but in effect what that means is that Dr. Showers, if you met with Dr. Robinson, and then Dr. Robinson, you met with Mr. Culver, that would be a serial meeting. That would be a quorum of the body membership meeting in gatherings of less than a quorum of the membership to discuss a matter that would come before the council for a vote. Now, that does not mean that 2 of you cannot get together to just discuss matters, that you can talk about matters for purpose of educating yourself, or just gather socially. But if you get together to deliberate about any matter that is coming before you for a vote, that is prohibited by this Act. And this is how they define deliberation. Deliberation is an exchange of information or ideas among a quorum of members of a subcommittee, committee, or full governmental body, intended to arrive at or influence a decision as to how the members of the subcommittee, committee, or full governmental body should vote on a specific matter that at the time of the exchange, the participating members expect to come before that subcommittee, committee, or full governmental body immediately following the discussion or at a later date. So if you are discussing a matter that you expect to come before a vote of the council, and you do that in meetings of less than a quorum of you, but over time it ends up being more than a quorum of you that have participated in these meetings, then that is a serial meeting, and that's prohibited by the Open Meetings Law Amendment. Now, if you do this more than 7 days before the date of the vote, this doesn't apply. So this only applies if the serial meetings occur less than 7 days before a matter is to come before the council on a vote. So if you're going to vote on an ordinance, for instance, and you met in pairs more than 7 days before the regular council meeting, it would not be a violation of this Act. But if you met in pairs less than 7 days before the meeting, it would be a violation of the Act. Now, there are other provisions regarding meetings of subcommittees and committees. Fortunately, the City Council doesn't have many committees. Other than the Finance Committee, I'm not sure that there's another active committee that meets on a regular basis. So this really applies more to other organizations like the Planning Commission and the Von Braun Center and other boards. And I'll be meeting with those boards to explain these regulations as well. I'm quite confident I've probably confused you a little bit too, so I'm happy to answer questions.
Yeah, who wants to go first? We'll start. Dr. Showers, you go first, and then we'll come in.
Yes, this council will recall that we've had a citizen on several occasions who have asked why he was not permitted to attend committee meetings of this particular authority. Now, with that being said, in the new rendition that you just read, will that citizen now be allowed, if he requests to attend a subcommittee or a committee of an authority, will he still be denied, or will he have the freedom to attend those subcommittee meetings?
Well, unless the enabling legislation for that particular authority exempts that authority from the provisions of the Open Meetings Act, then I think that the citizen should be allowed to attend a committee meeting. But I'm not as familiar with that enabling legislation as I am our charter, so I can't really speak to that issue.
Okay, you indicated that you would be getting with other boards and authorities.
Not the authorities. The authorities are not part of the City of Huntsville. Just the boards that have been created by the City of Huntsville, like the Museum Board, the BBC Board, the Library Board. Those are ones that have been established by the City of Huntsville. All of the authorities are independent statutory organizations that are public, but they're not related to the City of Huntsville.
Now, one that is created by legislative action. For an example, the Hospital Authority, created by legislature. Does that apply to that board?
Well, like I said, it depends on what the enabling legislation for that authority says. If there is an exemption from the requirements of the Open Meetings Law, then it would not apply. But if there is no exemption, then the Open Meetings Law would apply to that authority.
Dr. Robinson, did you have any questions?
My question is with regard to the 7-day timeline. I don't see agendas until 24 hours before the meeting, so there may be a situation where I don't know something is going to be on the agenda 7 days and out. So I guess we either need to get agendas out earlier or ask, is this going to be on the agenda before we talk about it, I guess.
Well, one thing that the Act does not prohibit, it does not prohibit the mayor meeting individually with each of you.
So we could still do the 2-2-1 meetings
Well,
or individual?
the mayor could.
Mhm.
The mayor could. Yes, but you could not have a meeting of 2 members of the council and then have one member who participated in that meeting participate in another
Oh,
meeting.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could still do the 2-2.
But the mayor could meet with you to explain issues that are on the agenda.
Okay, good.
Mr. Culver?
Yes, I'm totally confused and baffled at best with all of this ambiguity on this particular law. So, just for clarification purposes, if I were to have an item on the agenda, then if I'm asking my colleagues for support, this law would prohibit me from speaking to more than one colleague in different meetings. For example, if I run to Dr. Robinson's office, if I run to Dr. Shower's office, and then I run to Councilman Kling's office, I run to President Russell's office, I'm prohibited from doing that.
You are, unless you run to their offices more than 7 days before the meeting.
Which comes back to the question of how do you know it's going to be on the agenda?
Well, in that case, obviously, Mr. Culver controls when it's going to be on the agenda, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Ms. Kling, do you have any questions?
Yes, Mr. President. Here earlier this week, I shot an email to you expressing my concerns about the utility trust lawsuit issue that we're going to be talking about. Okay. And when I did that, I copied the other council members. So basically, you could say there's one-way communication to you. I had no communication. The other council members hadn't talked to them about it or anything. But
after September the 1st, will a communication like that be in violation?
It probably will be coming from you. It would not be coming from me as your attorney, but I will probably change the way that I communicate with you just to make sure that there's no either appearance or question about whether the law is being violated. There are some exemptions from the open meetings law, and discussing economic initiatives, economic development projects is one of those exemptions. So the mayor could still meet with you in smaller groups to discuss that, and it would not be a violation.
What about litigation?
Litigation is exempted as well, but I do want to alter the way that I communicate with you about that.
Okay. What about that fun thing that's not really dealing with business, but we have emails going back and forth on trying to schedule a hearing? President Russell's trying to schedule a hearing on such and such date, and with you in the loop, and the attorney, Ms. Buscani, whoever is handling it, we're trying to get everybody's schedule organized. So when can we meet? How do we coordinate those in the future?
Well, that's not actually deliberation on a matter that's going to come before the council for a vote. That's procedural, and that's fine. You can do that.
Okay. What about at a social event? Councilman Culver is talking to Dr. Robinson. Can I come up and say, hi, how y'all doing? Merry Christmas?
Absolutely. Those are exempted as well.
No
and
business or anything.
Specifically provided for in the open meetings law that social gatherings are not included within the definition of a serial meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jeffrey.
Could I ask one last question?
Mayor Battle.
Mr. Jeffrey, the difference in deliberation and education, how do they define that?
How do they define education?
The difference between deliberation and education. If you're talking to someone to educate them on something, as long as you don't go to deliberation,
Well, that's a slippery slope.
that's what I thought.
It's very hard to separate what is education on a matter if you're talking about the same matter that might actually come before the council for a vote.
Yeah.
I mean, the best advice is just make sure you talk about it more than 7 days before the meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, moving on. We have no business with outside legal representation. We do have a public hearing to be held. Now is the time and place for a public hearing on a resolution authorizing the City Clerk-Treasurer to assess the cost of the cutting and removing of grass and weeds against certain properties. Mr. Binion?
Yes, this resolution identifies 39 properties that were in violation of the city's grass and weed ordinance. The properties are identified on attachment A by the owner and location. The owners received written notification by regular mail that they were in violation of the ordinance and were given 14 days to correct the violation. All 39 owners failed to respond, and community development issued work orders to cut the properties at a total cost of $9,211.31 and an average cost of $234.54. Attachment A also identifies the date and cost for cutting these properties. The owners received a written request by regular mail for payment, and they failed to respond. So we are requesting that property assessments be placed on these properties in order to collect the costs. The owners were notified of this proposed action and could wish to speak tonight.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone from the public wish to address the council on this particular issue? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. The chair moves for approval.
Second.
Second by Mr. Kling. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. We have several public hearings to be set. We have a resolution to set a public hearing on an ordinance zoning newly annexed property lying east of U.S. Highway 431 South and on the west side of Goose Ridge Drive to Residence 1A District. We have a resolution to set a public hearing on an ordinance amending Article 50, Research Park District Regulations, Section 50.1, Uses Permitted, Article 51, Research Park West District Regulations, Section 51.1, Uses Permitted, Article 52, Research Park Applications District Regulations, Section 52.1, Uses Permitted, Article 54, Research Park Applications 2, District Regulations, Section 54.1, Uses Permitted, and Article 73, Supplementary Regulations, amending regulations concerning mobile food vending units. This will be set for August 27th, 2015.
Move to set the 3 public hearings.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. We have a resolution to set a public hearing amending Article 53, Research Park Commercial District Regulations, Section 53.5, Parking and Loading Areas, amending regulations concerning retail parking. This will be set for the August 27, 2015 regular council meeting.
Move to set a public hearing for August 27th.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Robbins, second by Mr. Kling. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? It carries. 4 is a resolution to set a hearing for suspension of licensure for certain taxpayers. This will be set for July 23rd, 2015 at the regular council meeting.
Move to set a public hearing for July 23rd.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Robinson, second by Mr. Culver. Discussion. All those in favor of setting the hearing say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. 5 is a resolution to set a hearing for suspension of licensure for certain taxpayers. This will be set for July 23rd, 2015 at the regular council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Kling, second by Mr. Culver. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. We're now at communications from the public. When I call your name, you have 3 minutes to address the council. Mr. Bob Boyette.
My name's Bob Boyette, 3312 Village Drive, Southwest, Huntsville, Alabama, 35805. I was here a couple weeks ago in regards to the Botanical Gardens dumping area for wood chips for tree services, mainly that dump over there. I don't know if anything's been resolved there, but there is some fresh piles there. I drove by there today. Took several pictures of possible ways to defend the area from illegal dumpers, maybe putting up some cameras across the street on the telephone poles, on both entrances. The reward signs, all of them are down except for one, and another one's laying in the grass. There is a couple of miscellaneous piles over there, some miscellaneous brush over there. I would like to open that botanical area up and be able to possibly dump wood chips over there. Second thing on my agenda is cable lines loose on the telephone poles. I went today for an estimate over on Martin Road off of the Parkway South, and I got photos of that also. Big cable wire rolled up on a telephone, a light pole, just rolled up and laying there. Third thing on the agenda, my agenda is service trucks in the city that are providing services, whether it's a tree service or lawn service, plumbing, electrical, or whatever, that if the city is offering or issuing licenses to work in the city, to provide some type of a sticker on the driver's door identifying that they are a registered business doing business in the city of Huntsville, and possibly we could get some of these illegal people that are out there working and not paying taxes, not paying insurance, and making it difficult for a small businessman like me to make it, that is paying all the dues and fees that I have to do. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Clarence Johnson.
Mr. Boyette, did you pass that picture that you took through Huntsville Connects? Remember we mentioned that last time. Did you happen to remember that?
No, I didn't. What I'm trying to avoid is having to do this, and maybe possibly somebody taking action with the city, or whoever's running the telephone poles, whoever's doing all that. The cable company's actually taking action and doing their job right. It looks awful. I could spend all day
Okay.
And if I'm able to get
That's
a
fine.
retainer, I'll take all the pictures you want.
Just that Huntsville Connects works real well, but if you'll let maybe ITS Bill Steinert over there know the address on that, we'll take care of it. Thank you.
Mr. President?
Mr. Kling?
I know Mr. McKee's been out of town a lot lately and everything, but I was wondering if, could we let her make contact with the Botanical Garden, see if one way or another, if something can be worked out, if there's a way it could be worked out. If the Botanical Garden says no, at least we could give Mr. Boyette, I guess, a definitive answer on that. But let him know if there's a way, one way or another, that it could be worked out or not worked out. I think this is the gardening time of the year, and it seems like mulch chips could be a nice thing. I bought a couple crates of them, and they're pretty expensive at the home improvement store. So maybe people out there could use them if it could be worked out.
Thank you. Dr. Clarence Johnson?
Thank you. Clarence Johnson, 3302 Buttrey Drive, Huntsville. I thank you for this opportunity. I would like to share with the council and mayor something that occurred to me and for the good of our community on this morning. By happenstance, I received a flyer from the Community Watch Association, and it talked about two things. One, that there was an opportunity to go to the police academy this morning and to go through the actual policies, procedures, and some of the training that the officers do go through. Representative Hall, myself, Dr. Robinson from the council, we all were there. It was very informative, very, man, I tell you, it was just awesome to see what they go through. Just briefly, there was 3 simulations. I got shot 2 out of 3 acting as a police officer. There were three simulations, traffic stops, and what have you, to show the other side of the coin, as the officers were saying. But I think that, along with the information that they provided, was worth its weight in gold, not only to law enforcement, but to our community. And I would recommend that this council and mayor will follow suit with Dr. Robinson and all go and take that simulation training and policy and procedure awareness. I would also like to say that on the 18th of July, now I'm headed to my wife's family reunion. I won't be there, but I placed some flyers at the desk, at the officer's desk out there, and I thank Mayor Battle for going back upstairs to make copies of the flyer for me. But it is a flyer, it states policies and procedures, why police do what they do. Some of the topics that will be discussed are crime scene investigation, traffic stops, how to respond if you are approached by an officer. I found that very interesting, that the officers training this morning, that some of the things they were saying are some of the things that we are saying to our community members, we being North Huntsville Community United for Action. What to do if you have a bad experience with an officer. That's something that the community needs, and first, second, and third shift patrol, and a few other things. This is taking place at Huntsville High School Theater, again, July the 18th, and I would encourage the city governance and city members. I don't care what community you're in Huntsville, north, south, east, or west. This is a great opportunity to get some good information regarding why police do what they do.
Sir, your time's up.
Can I have just one more minute?
Council members, is that okay?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. And so then, again, I want to say, for those who are assembled, that this flyer is out there in the foyer where you picked up your agenda, and it is well worth it. I'll be looking forward to some other groups that I will try to encourage to go through the training of this morning, and I would hope that other community groups in this community would do likewise. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Jackie Reed?
Good evening.
Good evening.
That's hard to follow. He did a very good job. I want to thank you for allowing public input, and I want to thank you for the prayers, continuing the prayers in the council chambers. I think that's always needed. I also want to thank the mayor for sharing that meeting on the budget at 2 o'clock one evening when y'all had one, and I missed it. Sharing that information of some of the money that we're borrowing, and I appreciate that. The citizens brought to me about Mountain Gap Road on top of the hill up there. I don't know whose district. I encourage all the citizens of this city to know who your council person is. That's important. They're working for you. Call them, put them to work, make them do their job. That's what they need to do. I wish I was part of the city of Huntsville and took all the complaints in this city. I get them all anyway, but I'm not getting paid for it. But just think what I could have done if I had taken all the complaints. Anyway, the light at Lehman Ferry on Bob Wallace is way too long. I brought that up once before, and you sit there and sit there and sit there, and you wonder, what are we waiting on all day? I also was told, I won't tell you who, ADM wrote up the city for the Holiday Inn property. Now, I don't know who ADM is, and I don't know what they wrote you up for. I thought you gave that property away over there, the Holiday Inn, to a developer. Why don't they write the developer? Or are you going to put grass, haul dirt in there, and help him build that property? We, the taxpayers, paid just a few years ago when Glenn Watson was sitting up there, $6.8 million for that Holiday Inn, and you turned it over to Downtown Inc., and they run it for you. I understand you paid $200,000 to tear down the asbestos in that building. Holiday Inn again, I'm talking about. Then I heard it cost $2,000 a truckload to haul all that junk off out there. And when you tore it down, now you're going after the Aquatic Center and the Scruggs Center. How much is that property appraised for? And have you given that to the same developer? I went to the library yesterday, couldn't even find a place to park. When you tear all that out, find a place for the library to park. They got problems over there now. I don't know what the big city is, the big picture, but it's kind of being destroyed in a crazy way. I think you need to bring more of that to the public, unless I don't know what's going on. And I know you brought Sherman Industries over there, or maybe you didn't buy it. But what are you going to do with Sherman Industries? Do you employ those people still working over there? I thought you bought it here one night. You all have some answers? Please answer me. You don't use your microphones, please. I pray you stick your microphones to your mouth when you're speaking to the public so we can hear what you say.
Ms. Reed, your time's up. Do you need
I'll
more
hurry
time?
because I got a whole lot to talk about.
You have one more minute.
The planning department doesn't have enough information when they go to let these developers do like they want to do, like at Westlawn. They didn't have enough information. It was sold on Tuesday night. It brought in the planning department the next week, and they sit up there and don't have any answers as to what's going to be done. You got all these people out here that got a letter a week before the planning department. So these developers need to be made to bring in a plat of what they're going to do and give the public enough time to see what's going on in the planning department. The library needs more help. I don't see a for sale sign on the Coca-Cola plant over here, and that really concerns me that people's got property for sale in the city. Always have a for sale sign up. Do you all have that on hold for that Joe Davis Stadium place you're going to tear down and move over there? Have y'all got that tied up some way? And if you do, let me know. I'd like to know that. I don't see a for sale sign over there, and that concerns me quite a bit. So,
Ms. Reed, your time's up.
Answer some of these questions. Thank you.
I don't know. There are so many. There's no contract on the Coca-Cola property. You come to every meeting. We do all those contracts in public, so you know that. What were the other? Sherman Industries. It was a road widening project. The state of Alabama and city of Huntsville purchased it, which you were here in the meeting when we did that. I don't know what they're going to do with their employees. They're moving to another location. Any other questions?
Mountain Gap Road is in my district, so stick around afterwards and we'll talk about that. I'd love to know what the issues are.
And then I think the Holiday Inn, we just need to get her a
$90 million development, and
Yeah.
what that means as far as sales tax and property tax to the city in comparison to letting it go at a lesser price than what we.
and I think she wanted to know the cost for everything, and I'll get that together and get it to her.
There was another item that Mrs. Reed mentioned, Aquatic Center and the Scruggs Center. Mr. Hamilton, could you share some information on where we are with those two sites?
Yes, Dr. Sauer. So for our first question was whether or not it's the same developer that has the option to purchase that property. And the answer is yes, it is the same developer. And the development agreement that council approved several months ago gives that developer the option to purchase that property. And our expectation is that if they were to do that, they would include that property in their overall development for the site and combine that with the first phase, which is what we know as the Holiday Inn site. That action requires two things. One is removing the Scruggs Center, and then also the Aquatic Center. As part of the agreement and the decision that council made at that time, the money that would come out of that sale would be dedicated to the redevelopment of the council high school, and we are in the process now with an architect of designing that. And so a portion of the council high school redevelopment is a basketball court that would replace the athletic component of the Scruggs Center. And the council high school would also have meeting spaces and public spaces. So the intent is that the Scruggs Center it partially replaces the capacity that the council high school would partially replace the capacity we have in the Scruggs Center. We've also worked use agreements with the school system and other things to expand some of the gymnasium capacity we have in this part of the city, and that actually started over a year ago with the school system. The Williams Aquatic Center has really gotten well past its useful life. As it's gone through a number of evolutions in its intended use, it's now really focused on assisting those with mobility challenges, elderly, and those that may be physically handicapped. And the pool was never designed for that. So the staff has done a good job of making it work as best they can. But our assessment is that it really needs to be replaced with a pool designed specifically for that purpose. The replacement for that pool is in design. You approved the contract for the design several months ago. We just recently had the 60% review, the design review with the architect, and so that one is moving along well. I expect that we'll take it to construction bid in September, and so then you would see the construction contract very shortly after that, which is an expansion of the existing auditorium to include a therapy pool designed specifically for those members of our citizens or our community that have mobility challenges. And so we're very pleased with the design that we have now. They've done a good job of bringing experts to ensure that we're meeting the needs of that portion of our population. And so where that'll be located is on Drake Avenue, directly across from the senior citizen center that's there on Drake, and it'll be part of our expanded aquatics program.
Ms. Reed, if we didn't answer all our questions, you can see me after the meeting, and I'll be glad to provide more information. Council members, we do have a board appointment nomination tonight. We have a nomination of Charlie Bonner for reappointment to the Museum Board of the City of Huntsville for a term to begin August 13, 2015 and expire August 13, 2021, made by Mr. Kling. Are there any other nominations? Moving on to 10, approval of expenditures. 10A is a resolution authorizing expenditures for payment. Dr. Showers.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would submit tonight for your approval $11,028,067.59.
Second?
Motion by Dr. Showers, second by Mr. Kling. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. Under the Finance Committee report, we have a resolution approving travel for Dr. Richard Showers Sr. to attend the Alabama League of Municipalities Committee on Community and Economic Development meeting, Montgomery, Alabama, July 20 and 21st, 2015. The chair moves for approval.
Second?
Second by Mr. Kling. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. Dr. Showers, do you have anything further on their Finance Committee?
Mr. Taylor.
Council members, I just have one figure to provide you tonight. That's our sales tax for the month of June. We collected 2.1% more than we did the previous June. And year to date, that represents 9 months of our fiscal year. That puts us at 3.3%. So our budgetary goal is is right at 3, so we're just right about where we need to be on that. All the other figures that I've provided at the mid-year report are about the same.
Thank you. Now, communication from the mayor, Mayor Battle.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the record, I'd like to announce the appointment of Tom Richardson to the Air Pollution Control Board for a 5-year term effective July 13th, 2015, and to expire July 13th, 2020. I'd like to introduce to the council and to all the public Ms. Erin Koshy. Erin, please stand. Erin is our Director of Research Parks, working for the Chamber of Commerce and contracted through the city with the Chamber of Commerce, and is a great addition to both the Chamber staff and the city economic development staff. So, Erin, welcome. We're glad to have you here. And also, I am in, Dr. Johnson, I am in receipt of a request for public records from Pastor T.C. Johnson, North Huntsville Community United for Action. Total sums of salaries distributed, sorted by race, gender, and zip code for the city of Huntsville payroll for 2014 for permanent employees, and same thing for temporary employees. I'm going to pass it to the clerk, and we'll get to work on providing those public records for Dr. Johnson. Other things that are happening right now, we're having you've got Food Truck Friday on July 17th on Church Street in Huntsville, pop-up pinball on Friday and Saturday, free from 6 to 10 at the corner of Washington and Holmes. Movies in the Park tomorrow starts at sundown. Princess Bride is showing, which is a thriller. Music on the square today and on Friday evening, and Green Street Market is happening right now with lots of people around the downtown area, even in this heat. And also on July 17th and 18th, 10 to 2, and July 19th, 1 to 4, at the Huntsville and Madison Walmarts, we're going to be doing the Stuff the Bus. This is for the CAFY group, so that we can have school supplies to give to kids who may not be able to afford those. And this is all sponsored by Walmart, Durham Bus Company, Lamar Advertising Office of Multicultural Affairs, and Rocket City Broadcasting. I'd also like to say to Dr. Clarence Johnson, thank you for participating today. Thank you for participating with our police and our community watch. You know, we're all in this together, and this is a group effort, and it's a group effort for everything that we do in the city of Huntsville, and for our police protection. It's a group effort, and it takes both sides get to know each other, working with each other, and working on a day-to-day basis to make that happen. We've got to walk in their shoes, they've got to walk in our shoes, and I think it's good for everybody. So thank you for participating today, and thank you, Councilman Robinson, for participating today. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Culver?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just very quickly, and I believe I see Joy McKee there and Mr. Hatfield. Just a couple of quick items. Rita Lane in the area of 2625, and I know that we've gone out. There's an erosion problem, and I think we had gone out before and put some rocks down, but according to one of the residents there, that hasn't completely resolved the problem. So if we could maybe take another look at that, have contact for Miss Tony if you all need that. Also, at 4228 Broad Meadow, which runs off of Angora between Grizzard, I believe, and Maston Lake, the ditch there probably needs to be dredged or something, and probably cut back. If you all could take a look at that. Usually I go by and look at it beforehand, but I have to admit I haven't looked at these. Also, Joey, in the area of Providence School, and I forget the name of that street that comes out of Providence School that intersects Chalkstone, but I believe on both sides of it, if we could maybe work with the school system. I'm sure some of that may be on the school system's side, to maybe get some grass or something growing there. It does look kind of rough in that area there, and I've gotten a complaint about that. So that's all I have, and you all just keep up the good work, and I certainly appreciate all of the help that you're rendering, not just to me, but for our citizens. Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Culver. Mr. Kling.
Thank you, Mr. President. During the last several days, there have been some very fine activities that I've been involved in. The Scenic Drive Neighborhood Association has gotten involved and formed a formal neighborhood group, and they have had some very good meetings. Both of them I've participated in. The inspection department has been out there, and they have done a good job explaining how things are, how they work, and the process to go through to contact either a council member or the appropriate city mechanism. And appreciate the new folks really getting involved in that neighborhood group. It's always really great working with the new group and helping them get started, and then you see the results that have taken place. And one of the ones that is very well established and certainly has done very well, Holiday Homes Neighborhood Association had a meeting last Monday, and there were representatives from other neighborhood groups that came, and that certainly has been a very strong organization and a great organization to work with. And before the next meeting, I'll be having my monthly town meeting the third Monday of the month, and certainly welcome anybody to come down there. It's at the library, and 7 p.m. in meeting room A. And Mr. President, that's all I have, and I hope everybody had a great holiday.
Thank you, Dr. Showers.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to report that on the past Wednesday, there was a Building Livable Neighborhood workshop that was out at Everton Heights, their Family Life Center, and that was a morning program from 10 to 12:30. I would like to acknowledge here tonight that Michelle Watkins, the newly elected president for the PTA at Johnson High School, is present tonight. And Ms. Watkins, this council, we received an email from a citizen who alleged that he was, in fact, the chairperson for the back-to-school parade. And, of course, I have found out, and I have reported, that I got information that says that that individual, in fact, has been removed from that title, and another person is chairing that effort. Could you tell us tonight who that individual is that will be chairing the back-to-school parade through the PTA?
Dr. Showers, let me hold you. You want somebody to speak during your time? Is it?
Yes.
Ms. Watkins, can you go to the microphone, please, and introduce yourself for the record?
Michelle Watkins, 3310 East Helena Drive. I'm the Johnson High PTA SA president for the upcoming school year 2015-2016. And tonight we have several of the people here that's spearheading the Back to School Parade, which is an annual event hosted by the Johnson High PTSA. Miss Alice Sams is the overall chair. Miss Melinda Satcher is helping with the organization. Felicia Logan is the volunteer coordinator. Trent Griffinson in the back is the activities coordinator. And Donna Johnson is the POC for participants and sponsorships. We welcome any assistance, involvement. If you'd like to be in the parade, please let us know. We'll make room for you. We're looking to have a great event, get the kids encouraged and motivated and inspired to go back to school and get learning into their agenda. And we just want to make this a big community event, and we welcome you to come out and celebrate with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to ask our attorney if he would weigh in on the fact that communication is going out across the city by a person who does not, in fact, represent a position with the Johnson High School PTA. Are there any thing that the public can be made aware, because in the email that has gone out, money is being requested and support, but that request and that support is being asked by a person who does not represent that position. What can we do about that?
Well, Dr. Showers, this may very well be an issue for the school board to address, or for the attorney for the school board to weigh in on. It would not involve the city or the city council or any city staff unless the activity rose to the level of some sort of criminal misconduct, and I'm certainly not suggesting that. But if someone is out soliciting money on behalf of an organization and he or she has no authority to do that, then there may be some wrongdoing there. But it really would be more appropriate for the school system to address this than for us to do that.
Okay. Mr. President, I want to go ahead and finish my items. Saturday, the Bragg family reunion will be taking place. I will be bringing greetings there on behalf of the mayor and the council. And the site for that family reunion is at Union Hill Church. Again, Everton Heights is holding its board of directors meeting Tuesday from 11 to 1. And I want to just stop here now. Dr. Johnson is here, who and several other members who attend the North Huntsville Business Association. We have had good turnouts, Ms. Dr. Robinson, and I would be remiss if I would not say this. Dr. Johnson is going to be facilitating those meetings starting on our next meeting, which is Wednesday, the 22nd. What we are proposing to do is to set up groups. And I would be remiss if I would not say this to the public. Councilwoman Robinson and I share what we are doing, and you've heard me announce this before. We're going to have a joint meeting, and of course, at our next meeting, we're going to have 3 groups that will be assigned a task to generate interest. Why the North Huntsville Business Association? We have in that part of the city some of the best businesses in Huntsville. However, we have some dilapidation. We have some buildings that are not being occupied. The city has moved to purchase some property. We'll purchase some more. There was a new company that came in 2 weeks ago in North Huntsville. It's a cosmetic company, Evora, doing business. And certainly I'm not a salesperson, but they are located on the Parkway, just this side of Winchester Road, and a new building there. And of course, they welcome your support. I would be remiss if I would not say this. North Huntsville, we are closing the gap. I'm not at liberty to say some things that I want to say that I know. The administration has asked that until those items are really in concrete, that we don't need to create any problems of announcing some new businesses that are coming to North Huntsville before that is official. But I can say that at the intersection of Parkway and Max Luther, there's some property. There's some more property that's being looked at Latony Way. You all know where the overpasses are there at Max Luther and Parkway. On that east side, that was a plaza of sort at one time that did great business, but the overpass has rendered it certainly where the business is not striving like they could be. We're looking at that. I'm not at liberty to say what the city is proposing to do at that site. We do know where the old Kmart was. We have a new entity going there. And of course, across the street from there, where the old Albertson used to be, we passed that vacant building. The mayor was able to get the owners of that property to paint that structure. And so we are waiting now for, and I'm told, Mayor, that the county is possibly looking at that site as a stop all type of situation for several different things. And I'm just hoping that they'll be making an announcement soon on that particular proposal. And finally, I am saying to all of us that I was out of pocket the last 2-3 weeks. Let me tell you why. We have a daughter in Raleigh, Durham, and last week she hosted a family reunion. Mark, the mayor, and the other council members, it is a delight to be a member of this community. Durham, and all of us know it as the Triangle, 3 cities in one. They really got it going on there in that city. We're a close second to what they do in Raleigh, Durham. But I was really impressed. I had a tour of the city, and of course, it reminded me so much of Huntsville. We're not as large as they are, but we are doing well, and there's more to come. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
I want to acknowledge before I give my time over to the President, Ms. Alice Sam, longtime president of NAACP, is with us tonight. She's a part of the Johnson High School PTA, and I just wanted to acknowledge her presence. It's not very much that go on in this city that Alice Sam is not a part of, but Alice, delighted to have you at our meeting, and all others that are here tonight. We're just appreciative to have you all come. Dr. Johnson, you have a group of people that serves on your committee that are at all of these meetings, and they are also at the North Huntsville Business Association meeting, and that is a delight. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Robinson.
On June 27th, I had the opportunity of being part of the Celebrate America concert, which was a concert with the full AMC band and a 100-voice choir from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. My job was to get the narrators for each of the eight narrators for each of the 2 concerts. And so I got to ask 16 of my nearest and dearest friends, including Congressman Mo Brooks, Commissioner Phil Riddick, Representative Mike Ball, Senator Holtzclaw, and a bunch of others, including our own Kenny Anderson, who did just a phenomenal job, and I want to acknowledge Kenny for doing that. It was really an exceptional experience, and he represented the city really well. As Pastor Johnson mentioned, we had the opportunity to spend an interesting, really eye-opening experience together this morning at the Mini Police Academy, joined by Representative Laura Hall and Ruben Flores. And first of all, I want to thank Ray Caldwell, who is the president of the Community Watch, who was the driver behind all of this, helped by Captain McMurray and Officer Hollingsworth to put all of this together. I can't imagine how much time they spent planning and coordinating all of this, the video simulations, and then the real life simulations in which I was shot by Officer Graham, who was playing the bad guy. It was really, really eye-opening. It's one of those cases where you don't know what you don't know until you do something like this. And so it was eye-opening. I encourage everybody who has the opportunity to do it. They're going to run it again tomorrow morning out at the police academy. But I think what was most interesting to me was the time we had as we were all waiting to go through the simulations, Pastor Johnson and Representative Hall and Mr. Flores and I talked with Officer Hollingsworth about community policing and what we're doing well and what we could do differently. And it became very evident that that kind of communication needs to take place on a broader level. Anyway, that was I had a number of takeaways from this morning, but it was terrific, and I look forward to seeing that repeated and more people participating. And then would also echo the July 18th event from 10 to 1 at Huntsville High. Experience why police do what they do. Experiencing life from a police officer's perspective, I think, is going to be really another terrific experience, and it will feature videos of those of us who participated today. So kudos to the Police Department and Community Watch for putting all of that together. And then finally, the South Huntsville Business Association will meet this week on July 14th at 3 o'clock at 600 Boulevard South. We're learning that a lot of new businesses are going to be joining us. That outreach of one business to another business seems to be really effective. I think people are discovering that it's going to be a great way for them to communicate with the city. Dr. Showers and I were talking yesterday about the issues that we have in common with the two groups, and certainly the Parkway overpasses, North Parkway and South Parkway, and keeping those businesses open as those overpasses are put in. The South Huntsville Business Association is putting together a white paper on that, helping to communicate with businesses, and that would certainly be something we could share, and I think there are going to be lots of other opportunities for us to share and work together, and look forward to that.
Thank you, Dr. Robinson. Council members, we have two Boy Scouts with us tonight. If one of y'all want to go to the microphone and tell us your name and what troop you're with, we appreciate you hanging with us tonight.
Hello, I'm Chris Stokes with Troop 361, and we've been working on the communications and citizenship in the nation in our badges.
Welcome, Chris Stokes. We appreciate you being here. Council members, this past couple weeks, our Parks and Recreation Department has been very busy holding Little League tournaments all over town. The mayor and I went to the 11 and 12-year-old championship at Bell Mountain down deep in Dr. Robinson's district. They had a wonderful tournament, and I believe International beat Eastern for the championship the other night. Was also able to go to Stoner Park for many of the games there, and we had the finals, I believe, last weekend for some of the coach pitch and some of the other teams. And again, we had a good showing, and both parks were in exceptionally good shape, and the grass was manicured. Last night was able to go with the mayor to the tennis center's 10-year anniversary. It's a wonderful facility. I encourage you, if you've never seen it, just to go by. It's really a great public facility. And I'll tell you, Mayor Battle's pretty good in tennis. I was surprised. He's actually okay. Maybe a bit out of shape, but he's okay. He can play. And I encourage the people to beat him, really beat him bad and embarrass him, and they let him win. So he won. His team won 11-9. But when I went to the softball game with the mayor, the Redstone Arsenal team showed us no mercy. They didn't care that he was the mayor. Yeah, no respect for us. We even had the umpires calling us out and stuff, and these were guys the city was paying. We're now at 13, unfinished business items for action. 13A is ordinance number 15-450, annexing land lying south of U.S. Highway 72 West and on the east side of Slaughter Road. This was introduced June 25, 2015 at a regular council meeting. The chair moves for approval.
Second.
Second by Dr. Showers. Ms. Nichols, can you explain this, please?
This property is approximately 1.4 acres. It's located south of U.S. Highway 72 West and on the east side of Slaughter Road. It is currently a multi-tenant commercial business, and this property would like to petition annexation for city services.
Thank you. Discussion?
What is the population of this area? Is it developed, or is it just?
It's currently developed. It's approximately 10 to 13 businesses currently in this particular complex. The property has been in the county, and they would like access to city sewer. They currently have a failing septic tank, and the health department has advised them that this is pretty much their final option.
Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. B is ordinance number 15-451, annexing land lying north of Interstate 565 and on the north side of Governor's West. This was introduced June 25, 2015 at the regular council meeting. The chair moves for approval.
Second.
Second by Dr. Showers. Ms. Nichols.
This property is approximately 8.51 acres. It's located north of Interstate 565 and on the north side of Governor's Drive. This is currently a multi-tenant commercial business with approximately 4 to 6 businesses currently, and this property would like to petition annexation for city services.
Thank you. Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. C is ordinance number 15-452, annexing land lying south of Sudden Road and on the east side of Woodside Drive. This was introduced June 25th at the regular council meeting. The chair moves for approval.
Second.
Second by Dr. Showers. Ms. Nichols.
This property is approximately 1.44 acres. It's located south of Sutton Road and on the east side of Woodside Drive. It is a single-family detached dwelling, and the property owners would like to petition for annexation for city schools and other city services.
Thank you. Further discussion? Questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. We have no new business items for introduction. We do have new business items for consideration and action. The chair holds 15K and 15M. Are there any other items you'd like to hold?
President, I'd like to have 15H held.
All right. Any others?
Yes. 15K.
We've already held 15K. Right now we have 15H, K, and M held.
15O. The other ones have already been called.
Okay. So right now we have 15H, 15K, 15M, and 15O. Hearing no others, 15A is a resolution authorizing mayor to agreement between the City of Huntsville and Rough Tails K-9 Rescue, Inc. B is a resolution authorizing mayor to enter a cost reimbursement agreement between the City of Huntsville and the Northeast Alabama Traffic Safety Office in the amount of $36,280 for traffic enforcement duties. C is a resolution authorizing mayor to enter agreement between the City of Huntsville and the U.S. Department of Justice for the fiscal year 2015 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant. D is a resolution authorizing mayor to consulting agreement between the City of Huntsville and Carroll English. E is an ordinance to amend budget ordinance number 14-665 by changing appropriating funding for various departments and funds. F is a resolution authorizing acceptance of donations. G is a resolution authorizing the city attorney to settle the claim of Christopher Adams. J is a resolution authorizing the Clerk-Treasurer to invoke Service First Bank letter credit number 21748 for the Village of Providence Phase 8. L is a resolution authorizing mayor to execute a ground leaser's estoppel certificate and agreement between the City of Huntsville and Hammonds of Huntsville LLC for the Embassy Suites Hotel. N is a resolution authorizing mayor to renew a land lease agreement between the City of Huntsville and Atkinson Farms for the lease of farmland in Cummings Research Park. P is a resolution authorizing mayor to execute modification number 2 to the agreement between the City of Huntsville and Weaver Environmental Services Company, Inc. for periodic bid for emergency manhole rehabilitation, project number 6513 SP35. Q is a resolution authorizing mayor to agreement between the City of Huntsville and Garver LLC for engineering, construction, administration services for 2015 water pollution control sanitary sewer rehabilitation, contract 2, project number 6515 SP49. R is an ordinance to declare equipment as surplus and dispose of it via auction per agreement with Mars LLC. S is a resolution authorizing mayor and city council to exempt community action partnership from sales and use taxes. T is a resolution authorizing mayor to agreement between the City of Huntsville and MIMS Engineering for engineering services for animal services ventilation upgrade located at 4950 Triana Boulevard. The chair moves for consolidation approval of 15A through G, 15J, 15L, 15N, 15P through T.
Second.
Motion to consolidate approved by the chair, second by Mr. Kling. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. We're now at 15H. 15H is a resolution authorizing and directing the city attorney to settle the lawsuit entitled Ability Plus Inc. versus City of Huntsville and others in the United States District Court for the Northern District of Alabama, case number 514 CV01476. The chair moves for approval.
Second.
Motion by the chair, second by Dr. Showers. Discussion.
Mr. President, I would speak against this. I communicated that to Mr. Geoffrion earlier this week, and y'all had copies. I guess for the record, let me say that there was no back and forth communication with me and any of the other council members. But to me, it just seems wrong that we had ordinances that were in place. This company came in, and of course, nobody's disputing the good work that they did, but they came into a residential area with oversized vehicles. They were told by the inspection department that they were in violation. They went to the Board of Zoning Adjustment to request a variance. The board considered their request, and then it was denied. And after going through all of that and the impact it has on neighborhood roads because the weight of the vehicles and the size, instead of them going out and getting the appropriate size vans that are certainly ADA compliant, they just decided to take us to court. And I just feel like it's a shakedown that, hey, come on, city, pay up. And I just think that it's inappropriate because we had rules in place. The company came in after the rules were in place, and they didn't follow it, and they're just trying to change it for their advantage.
And Mr. Kling, I certainly understand your point of view and would probably say I agree with it. I just think that in this time we have to settle this for the taxpayers' benefit, and it's just one of those unfortunate circumstances of our job.
Yeah, well, I understand that, but it just seems like this is opening the door because, yes, it would cost, it's a winnable case, it would cost to defend it, but it's kind of like we're opening the door. If it happens now, then the next person out there is going to try something, and after that. So I understand that, but I think they're neighborhoods, and at the same time, I think we do need to be certainly responsive to the impact it would have on the taxpayers and their money that we're dealing with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if we do see a lot of these, we're going to have to take a stand, but I don't think we're there yet. That's just my feel on it. Anybody else want to comment? Hearing no discussion, let's call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Let the record indicate it passed 4-1 with Mr. Kling voting no. K is a resolution authorizing the Healthcare Authority of the City of Huntsville to file an amended and restated certificate of reincorporation. The chair moves for approval.
Second.
Second by Dr. Robinson. Mr. Geoffrion, could you explain this, please?
Yes, members of the council, the Healthcare Authority wants to add 2 new members to its membership. It's currently a 9-member board. They want it to become an 11-member board, with the 2 new members being appointed by the 9 members that are appointed by the City Council. It would require either a restatement. Well, it would require redoing their Articles of Incorporation, which is what you are approving tonight, to authorize the increase to board membership of 11.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
I guess my initial thought on this was, why are they doing this as making a very large board? But at the same time, the hospital authority has grown, and it is truly now a regional hospital, and this would permit them to have representation from areas outside of Huntsville. It would make no sense for the city council to appoint those, so this gives them the flexibility to do that, as well as the flexibility to appoint individuals who might represent specialties that aren't as the hospital grows. That's the thought process behind it, as I understand.
Dr. Robinson, I might put in, in some of our travels and talking to some mayors and some other citizens across North Alabama, as we talked to some of the citizens in Florence, they were talking about Huntsville Hospital being there, but them not having representation there, and same thing in Decatur. Huntsville Hospital organization is there, but they feel like all the representation is back in Huntsville. When you are the 5th largest publicly owned hospital system in the United States, they've grown a little bit beyond our boundaries, and quite frankly, they've gotten big enough that we need to be able to show that there's some representation from those other areas.
Mm-hmm. I think that's right.
Further discussion?
I was
Dr. Showers?
concerned about this, Mr. President, when they initially visited with me. I was concerned about the diversity in that the members of the authority would be the ones selecting the 2 new members, and of course those who met with me assured me that would not be an issue. So given that, I will support this.
Thank you. Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. M is a resolution authorizing the mayor into agreement between the City of Huntsville and Garver LLC for engineering design services for EUL Trailhead, project number 6514 WP03.
So moved. To approve.
Second.
I'm not sure who made the motion.
I'll withdraw.
Okay, Dr. Showers made the motion, Dr. Robinson seconded. Ms. Martin, could you explain this?
Yes, sir. This is an agreement with Garver Engineers for design to extend the EUL bike lane that currently stops at Interstate 565 to include a parking area that has 83 spaces on the north side of Governor's West. And what this will do is connect Cummings Research Park to the Redstone Gateway property through alternate transportation.
And why is this good for the taxpayers?
It allows people to ride bikes and walks on a multi-use path from Research Park all the way to Redstone Gateway and go as far as Redstone Arsenal if necessary.
And it's a different mode of transportation that we can actually use to get into Research Park and get into the Arsenal and get back to some of the living areas. So this is one of our first attempts to kind of break that 565 barrier and get into the get across 565 in doing that.
Apparently biking to get out on the Arsenal is more popular than I thought it was, because I've heard of people from South Parkway also biking on the art, and they have accessibility issues there as well. So if we could look at that too, I would appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And how does this fit on our overall plan?
This will be funded through a federal state grant through transportation alternative programs, and so we're anticipating, we've made application, we would anticipate late this year to hopefully have an answer in regards to construction.
Thank you. Further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. O is a resolution authorizing the mayor to an agreement between the City of Huntsville and the low bidder, Wiregrass Construction Company, Inc., for Winchester Road and Homer Nance Road intersection improvements, project number 6515 TI-01.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Showers, a second by Dr. Robinson. Ms. Martin, can you explain this, please?
Yes, sir. This is a construction agreement with Wiregrass Construction Company for accelerating intersection improvements at Winchester Road and Homer Nance. It's approximately 2.5 miles of roadway improvements to Homer Nance to allow for additional turning movements and lane widths for stacking. And so that is a contract value of $735,629.60.
Council members, questions, discussion?
Yes. The bigger picture with Winchester Road, Ms. Martin, is there a deadline that's in place tonight that from the city limits to where Winchester ends in Tennessee, is that sit on the map of having that 4 lane from that distance from the city limits to where the state of Tennessee takes over?
Yes, sir. It is actually broken out into about 4 different projects, and 3 of those belong to the county. They were all A-TRIP funded last year. Our portion goes from Dominion to Nollier, and that is currently entering a right-of-way acquisition phase.
Is there a tentative deadline when that will be complete?
I do know the county has started construction on 2 of their phases, the bridge as well as the first section adjacent to the bridge. Our section is anticipated to start construction in 2017.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Voting on 15-0. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. 16 is legal department item transactions. We have 3 vacations of easement and 7 deeds for acceptance, including the deeds for acceptance for the Selden Center, the Huntsville Center for Technology, and AAA School. The chair moves to consolidate and approve 16A, 1, 2, and 3, and 16C, 1 through 7.
Second.
Motion to consolidate and approve by the chair, second by Mr. Kling. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
President,
Dr.
I
Shower.
had indicated on my computer and my sheet the last 3 items: the Selden Center, the Huntsville Center for Technology, and the AAA School. Is anybody here tonight that can address those 3?
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to consolidate and approve them. I will withdraw that motion. Mr. Kling, will you withdraw your second? You want to discuss these items?
Yes, I need somebody who's here that can tell us about these 3 items, these 3 centers here that are being closed. Mr. Hamilton, are you
Mr. Hamilton?
Yes, members of council, these are the three properties that just in the recent past you approved a purchase agreement between us and the city school system for these three properties. The transaction is closed, and so what you're doing tonight is accepting the deeds. The intended use is a Selden Center. You've already programmed the money to do a renovation of that facility, and it will become a police facility and allow some consolidations of some capabilities that we've been working on inside the police department. The Huntsville Center for Technology, the school system will continue to use that through at least the end of calendar year 2016. We don't anticipate us taking getting access into the facility until January of 17. And that facility will become part of the expansion of recreational facilities between Bronze Springs and Merrimack Park. The Calvary Hill School, I know on here it's referred to as a AAA school. The school system is actually moving the Academy for Arts and Academics to a new facility. The Calvary Hill School is what we will continue to refer to this new campus as, and that's the one where you've recently approved a lease for a portion of it to the Greengate School. And there's a number of other nonprofits that would be consolidated there to provide services to that community.
Okay, thank you.
I move we consolidate and approve 16A 1, 2, and 3, and 16C 1 through 7.
Second.
Motion by the chair, seconded by Mr. Kling. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It carries. We're now at non-roster communications from the public. Ms. Reed?
I don't want to harp and fuss on you all the time, but when you do the budget, here's three things I would like for you to consider. Very serious. One of them is microphones for all of you up there where the public can hear you. Quit mumbling. You look at each other, you look up and down the hall in the streets. No one talks into their microphone where the public can hear you. I don't know if the TV can hear you or not. I hope so. And then down here sometimes. But you need to sit down here someday and watch, see what goes on. It's a whole different story, I know it. And then a 3 to 5% for city employees. We've been bragging on them, and I think that's a very good thing. So don't go under 3 or 5% raise, or you're going to hear some noise on this floor right here. They've done a good job. You've bragged on them. Think about it. Also, I would like to say, empty buildings across this city. If you're going to buy every empty building up and down this parkway where the interstate is, overpasses, is took over, and shut down all these businesses, look, we got empty buildings all over this city. And I love new businesses, don't get me wrong. But we cannot buy these people's properties. You need to write them up, tell them to tear them down, and pay for them. You do not need to go buying people's property up and down these streets. You don't do people's houses like that. You write them up and tear them down and send them the bill. That's exactly what you need to do, these big developers that own this property. And if you have another building that you're going to buy, I'd like to see a work session. A work session. Let's talk about work sessions, which we don't have anymore. I think that would be a good thing. And I would like to know who did a traffic survey on Bob Wallace for Whole Food down there. Did the city of Huntsville do a traffic study before they allowed that shopping center to go in? Sometime you can answer me that. In West Lawn, I understand over there at that school, it's going to be a Walmart, one of these small Walmarts. And the public and the people are having a fit. I mean, empty schools are one thing, but putting Walmarts and putting these small mom and pop shops is out of business, like John Big Brothers, Kroger stores over there. I mean, I know you're not going to turn that planning department's not going to turn that down because it's already been bought. But there's no real planning going on in the city as far as I'm concerned. The quality of life, our roads in this city is a disaster. So start thinking about a better quality of life for the people of the city as elected leaders instead of all this big money developers that you bow downtown when they come downtown. Thank you and have a nice weekend.
You too.
Mr. President,
Mr. Kling?
I guess just to clarify public information, what Ms. Reed said, of that, it's a Walmart neighborhood grocery store. It's not a Walmart. I just want to make sure because I've had people on both sides asked me about that, and I'm just trying to make sure people understand that.
Sir, if you'll state your name and address for the record.
Trent Griffin, 3607 Nathalie Avenue.
Welcome.
Thank you. I just wanted to take a moment to commend the Public Works Department on the C-Click-Fix system you put in place a while ago, and I see the news using it, and they're even using the name to try to highlight the things that they do contacting the city, and I tried using it as a private citizen. There was a man that I saw in the middle of the street riding a wheelchair up the middle of the street during rush hour because the sidewalk wasn't completed. He was going to the store, and he had to do this every day. He's a veteran, and I said, I'm going to put in the C-Click Fix for that. So I put in the C-Click Fix for that, and shortly after I received a response for the city that said they were going to do it. They had crews out there that did it, and now that sidewalk provides a path for that man to get out the street. I stopped and talked to this man, and he said thank you to the city for putting this in, for doing the sidewalk. Many more people use that sidewalk safely now, and I just want to say that I appreciate the way that system is working for the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to address the council?
Move to adjourn.
We're adjourned.